Hey everybody, it's the Red Viking Princess. How is everybody? It's been so long since I've even made a video for YouTube, but it's not because I haven't had plenty of material. I've had like way too much, so I've actually had to try to live through all of this. I just have had so much happen. In fact, I was in an accident last year, which caused me to have a severe concussion, which took my vision away for most of last year. So pretty hard to be making videos when you can't see anything. Oh, it was really bad. But anyway, here I am again, back with 2015 vision. So way better than most people have. So I'm grateful for that. But anyway, I wanted to tell you about something that started way back a year ago this last summer. And I was shown some things. In fact, I knew that some terrible things were going on that, how do I say this? A lot of spiritual pressure was on me in a negative way. I would say that I was wrapped up like kind of in some spider's webs full of things. Nothing that I had done, but, you know, old ancestral stuff, I would say. How do I say this? Sins of the fathers, that type of a thing. If some of you don't know, I am a direct descendant of all the Viking kings, so we're kind of dealing with a lot of stuff, even with just that. And then you add in, you know, your current family and stuff too, and wow, I mean, you've got some things in your family to deal with. Well, anyway, so I was kind of shown that there was a fallen angel, which is a principality, which, you know, the angels have rankings. And even the fallen angels do. It's like being in the military. And so the fallen angels, which are principalities, they usually have a territory that they're over. And this particular one I was shown was kind of attached to me, and I was having a ton of problems, like I said. So, and nothing that you can actually fix, you know, in the natural. It's just not fixable because it's a spiritual issue. But anyway, I was shown that Abaddon or Apollyon was attached to me, and I hadn't even thought about anything like this before. So I started trying to work on that, and it was really difficult because I think that he had been kind of attached to me for years. So not an easy thing to get away from. Well, anyway, fast forward to kind of the end of 2019. Right after Christmas, kind of in between Christmas and New Year's, and I had two radically terrible nightmares. And in these nightmares, I knew who this was. This was Abaddon. This was Apollyon. And again, two nightmares in one after the other, and you know, progressive nights, basically showing me the same thing. They were almost like not very symbolic, almost kind of like a night vision, more or less, just because of the fact that they were really not symbolic. I mean, they were flat out like, this is what I'm going to do to you. And he basically threatened to take me out. In other words, kill me. So pretty scary stuff. So shortly after that, a couple of days after that, I was in my bed, and I live in a pretty nice place. I mean, it's right by the beach. I live 2 blocks away from the beach. So the weather here is good, even in the winter time. And usually the coldest it gets here, even at night in the winter, I know it's, you know, it's just kind of sickening, but like 50. Well, anyway, this particular night, it had gotten colder than that. It was actually about 40 degrees. Now, for most people, that isn't anything. And I've lived in North Dakota and Minnesota, and yeah, it's nothing. But for the people here that live by the beach, if it's 40 degrees, people here are freezing. They're just not used to that. So anyway, it was probably about 40 degrees. It was 3 o'clock in the morning, of course. You know what time that is. That's when everything happens, if it's going to happen. Full moon. And I always have a window open. I live in a pretty small place, and because it is by the beach, and Not exactly the cheapest place to live, but always have a window open, and the window's probably 20 feet from me, and I face the window from my bed. I do that because I have a cat who is up all night and he wants to look outside. So, I have to kind of keep the window open. And again, 40 degrees, it's cold, again, cold for here, but it's really not cold. So I just have extra blankets on. And anyway, like I said, at 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up. Why did I wake up? My cat was right into my face. And he never does that. He doesn't even sleep with me. He has his own bed that he sleeps in. And so I don't see him typically at night unless he needs something. And he was crouched down right next to my face. So like I said, I woke up. He was staring directly at this open window. And he was not blinking. Now, I didn't see anything at this point out the window, but I could see pretty clearly. Like I said, it was a full moon, and the way that everything sits, and I'm gonna send you a video on this so you can see this, is that I'm in a downstairs apartment. It's a really small complex. Not very many people live here, which is awesome. So it's very quiet, but there is a staircase outside, right next to this window. There's just a space in between where one person can walk, but most people don't walk there, and they definitely don't stand there because it's such a small space. Most people walk around because there's all kind of space on the other side and a sidewalk and everything to get around to your unit or whatever you're doing. Well, anyway, so again, my cat is crouched down, staring outside, not moving. His hair is standing straight up, his fur, and he's not blinking. He did not blink whatsoever, and just, like I said, in a crouch position like he's going to attack something. Now, my cat has never done this before. My cat is extremely friendly. He just wants to get petted and brushed, so he's not like that. And again, I didn't see anything, but I felt something. I felt like something was there. All of a sudden, something appeared, and it was exactly what had been in my dream. So it was Abaddon. The other name is Apollyon. He is the principality. I knew who he was by now, obviously. He's the principality, so he's in charge of hell. So he's second in line to Satan. So kind of a big deal in the fallen realm. And he did not look wispy. He did not look like a ghost. He did not look like a spirit of any kind. He looked like flesh and blood, but I knew for a fact he wasn't. His face was as white as a sheet of paper. He had a little bit of a goatee. His eyes were jet black, okay? And he was staring at me. He had on a black leather jacket, and he was bald, okay? So he's absolutely staring at me, looking sideways, but staring at me. He wanted to make sure that I saw him. Because, again, I had just had these 2 nightmares with him, and he's telling me in the nightmares he's going to take me out. So, anyway, he's standing there sideways, and all of a sudden I see black puffs of smoke coming out of his mouth. Now, you have to understand, my window's open. There's no smell. He doesn't have a cigarette. He has no vape. There's nothing. He doesn't have anything. But big plumes of black smoke are coming out of his mouth, and he wanted to make sure that I saw this. That's why he was standing sideways like that. And it was a type of smoke that you see coming out of a campfire. Not light smoke, black, absolutely black, like you'd see in hell. So he's doing that, and I just was staring at him, and I just in unbelief. You don't think about grabbing your cell phone or anything. You're just, this can't be happening. And again, my cat is fully staring at this thing, ready to pounce. Again, still not blinking. And I started getting really angry because I'm thinking, he has no right to be here. I'm a Christian. I'm a full-blown Christian. And he has no right. I need to, exercise my own authority and get rid of him. And I said, you know what? You're going to stand there and do that? I said, I don't think so. And I yelled at him, I don't think so. Well, he didn't leave or anything. He didn't turn around or do anything. The smoke stopped. he looked at me and disappeared in front of my eyes. So that was my encounter with him. And the next morning, I mean, I still was just kind of dumbfounded at the whole thing, because I've never heard of a full-blown fallen angel principality like that appearing in the flesh to someone. But remember, they're shapeshifters, so they can do that. It's just that I've never heard of that happening to anyone. So the next morning, I look outside, and I actually have film of this, so I'm going to show you the film of this. And he had disappeared, but that leather jacket was draped over the fire extinguisher that's outside. And like I said, I will show this to you. I think that was symbolic, okay? You got a fire extinguisher, so you think you're gonna extinguish hell? I don't think so. So he draped that over it. This jacket was probably a $700 or $800 jacket. It looked brand new. And again, it was 40 degrees. He had on like a white t-shirt underneath. As I saw part of that as he was staring at me. But no normal person would have left that jacket there. And days later, it was still there, because I was not going to touch that thing. And I had the people next door, my neighbors next door, were asking me, do you know anything about this black jacket? And of course, I tell them what happened. I say, I know this sounds crazy, but this is what happened. And I said, just don't touch it. And they're just like, we just can't believe someone would have left that jacket when it's been so cold, and it looks like a really expensive jacket. And I said, yeah, it looks good, but I wouldn't touch it again. And so I ended up seeing it the next day in the trash can, and there was a stick nearby, so I think they had taken a stick and removed it. But anyway, wasn't a good New Year's present for me, but after that, you know, I had lots of prayer after that, and I've never seen him since. So just one more thing in my arsenal. Anyway, yeah, check out the rest of this video. Like I said, I will go ahead and show you that. And yeah, still something that I will never forget. Take care. Bye-bye.